The story I'm about to tell you isn't just a story. It's a truth, a terrifying reality that happened to a friend of mine, and just thinking about it still sends shivers down my spine. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on stories like this. You know how they say a person will go anywhere to make a living. They leave their home, their parents, their roots, everything behind to step onto foreign soil. That's exactly what happened with Alim. Alim was my childhood friend, a guy from a small village in Uttar Pradesh. His family was poor. His parents were constantly sick, and the burden of educating his younger siblings fell entirely on his shoulders. When there were no options left in the village, he did what thousands do. He contacted an agent, took out a loan, and set off for the Gulf. Dubai. Hearing the name sounds glamorous, doesn't it? But the reality is often very different. Once he arrived, Alim realized that the glittering, shiny Dubai is only for the rich. For poor laborers, there is only sand, sun, and hard labor. From dawn to dusk, it was bone-breaking work. Alim got a job with a construction company, building massive skyscrapers. All day long, he hauled bricks and cement in the scorching heat, temperatures hitting 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. By evening, his body would be so exhausted that he had only one wish: to get to his room and sleep. The room wasn't anything special either. 8 to 10 laborers were stuffed into a small flat. Everyone was entangled in their own struggles. Someone would get a call from home asking for money. Another would get news of a sick wife. In that environment, there was no chance for friendship or conversation. Just work, eat, sleep. That was Alim's routine. The first few months were incredibly hard. He missed home. Memories of his mother haunted him. At night, he would cry alone. But slowly, he started getting used to this life. He thought, just 2 or 3 more years, I'll pay off the loan, save some money for the house, and then go back to my country. That dream was the only thing keeping him alive. But destiny had other plans. One evening, Alim had to go to the market to grab a few things. Usually he would go straight from work to his room, but that day, he needed shaving cream and a few other essentials. The market wasn't far, so he walked. As he was returning with his groceries, he saw a woman standing by the side of the road. She was wrapped in a black abaya, her face covered by a veil, niqab. Only her eyes were visible. And those eyes, how do I describe them? It looked like flames were dancing inside them. They were deep black, but held a strange, eerie glow. She stood there as if waiting for someone. At first, Alim didn't pay attention. You see many people standing on the road there. But as he passed her, the woman called out, "Brother, could I get some water?" There was something in that voice. It was so sweet, so soft, that Alim's feet stopped on their own. He turned around. The woman was looking at him. There was a strange pain and helplessness in her eyes. Yes, of course. Alim pulled a water bottle from his bag and handed it to her. The story I'm about to tell you isn't just a story. It's a truth, a terrifying reality that happened to a friend of mine, and just thinking about it still sends shivers down my spine. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on stories like this. You know how they say a person will go anywhere to make a living. They leave their home, their parents, their roots, everything behind to step onto foreign soil. That's exactly what happened with Alim. Alim was my childhood friend, a guy from a small village in Uttar Pradesh. His family was poor. His parents were constantly sick, and the burden of educating his younger siblings fell entirely on his shoulders. When there were no options left in the village, he did what thousands do. He contacted an agent, took out a loan, and set off for the Gulf. Dubai. Hearing the name sounds glamorous, doesn't it? But the reality is often very different. Once he arrived, Alim realized that the glittering, shiny Dubai is only for the rich. For poor laborers, there is only sand, sun, and hard labor. From dawn to dusk, it was bone-breaking work. Alim got a job with a construction company, building massive skyscrapers. All day long, he hauled bricks and cement in the scorching heat, temperatures hitting 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. By evening, his body would be so exhausted that he had only one wish: to get to his room and sleep. The room wasn't anything special either. 8 to 10 laborers were stuffed into a small flat. Everyone was entangled in their own struggles. Someone would get a call from home asking for money. Another would get news of a sick wife. In that environment, there was no chance for friendship or conversation. Just work, eat, sleep. That was Alim's routine. The first few months were incredibly hard. He missed home. Memories of his mother haunted him. At night, he would cry alone. But slowly, he started getting used to this life. He thought, just 2 or 3 more years, I'll pay off the loan, save some money for the house, and then go back to my country. That dream was the only thing keeping him alive. But destiny had other plans. One evening, Alim had to go to the market to grab a few things. Usually he would go straight from work to his room, but that day, he needed shaving cream and a few other essentials. The market wasn't far, so he walked. As he was returning with his groceries, he saw a woman standing by the side of the road. She was wrapped in a black abaya, her face covered by a veil, niqab. Only her eyes were visible. And those eyes, how do I describe them? It looked like flames were dancing inside them. They were deep black, but held a strange, eerie glow. She stood there as if waiting for someone. At first, Alim didn't pay attention. You see many people standing on the road there. But as he passed her, the woman called out, "Brother, could I get some water?" There was something in that voice. It was so sweet, so soft, that Alim's feet stopped on their own. He turned around. The woman was looking at him. There was a strange pain and helplessness in her eyes. Yes, of course. Alim pulled a water bottle from his bag and handed it to her. But there were some strange things about Laila. For instance, she only met in the evenings, never during the day. When Alim asked her about it once or twice, she laughed it off. "I don't like the sun," she said. "I prefer the cool of the night." And then she would talk about old desert tales, stories of jinns, haunted mansions, and legends of Pishachinis, demonesses. "Do you believe in all this?" Alim asked one day, laughing. A strange glint appeared in Layla's eyes. "Believe? It's not about belief, Alim. It is the truth. There is much in the desert that you do not know. There isn't just sand here. There are spirits, ancient powers." "What kind of powers?" Alim asked. "Those that live on blood," Layla whispered, and then smiled. "But you don't need to be afraid. I'm here with you, aren't I?" Alim laughed. He thought Layla was joking. But somewhere deep down, he felt a strange unease. Whenever Layla talked like this, her voice changed. Her eyes gained a different depth. One day, Layla told Alim an old story. She said that hundreds of years ago, a woman lived in this very desert. She was very beautiful, but she carried a curse. Every 100 years, she would come back to life and search for a lover. She would love that man, make him hers, and then slowly drain his blood. "That's a scary story," Alim said. "It's true," Layla said seriously. "How do you know?" Alim asked. Layla fell silent. Then she whispered, "Because I have seen her. I know who she is." Alim felt Layla was getting too serious. He tried to lighten the mood. Okay, enough scary talk. Let's talk about something else." Layla smiled, but there was something strange in her smile, as if she were hiding something. After that night, Alim started having strange dreams. In his dreams, he would get lost in the desert, and someone would call out to him. The voice was Layla's, but when he got close, no one was there. Just sand and silence. And then one night, in his dream, he saw Layla standing by his bed. Her eyes were red. Her face was pale. She slowly leaned toward Alim and placed her lips on his neck. Alim woke up drenched in sweat. His heart was racing. He touched his neck. There was nothing there, just a slight scratch. Just a dream, he told himself. But the next morning, when he looked in the mirror, there were 2 small marks on his neck, as if someone, or something, had bitten him. Alim was terrified. What was happening? Was it a dream or reality? That evening, when he met Layla, he told her about it. Layla looked at his neck and smiled, saying, "Maybe an insect bit you." "But Layla, I'm scared," Alim said. Layla held his hand. Her hands were ice cold. "Don't be afraid, Alim. I'm here. Nothing will happen to you." But Alim was starting to have doubts about Layla, about her words, and most of all, about himself. Did he really love Layla? Or was this some magic pulling him toward her? Alim's life began to change. He grew weaker. He started getting dizzy spells, and at night, he heard strange voices in his sleep. And the biggest thing, he couldn't bring himself to stop meeting Layla. The more he tried to stay away, the more he missed her. Friends, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between love and obsession. And Alim couldn't understand if he had fallen in love or fallen into a trap. His health was deteriorating, day by day. He would wake up feeling like he hadn't slept at all. His body ached, his head felt heavy, and his face was turning pale. Even his co-workers started noticing. "Alim, brother, are you okay?" Kareem asked one day. Kareem worked with him and was from Bangladesh. Yeah, I'm fine," Alim said, but there was no strength in his voice. "You don't look fine, brother. Go see a doctor," Kareem advised. But Alim brushed it off. He thought it was just fatigue, the workload. A few days of rest and everything would be fine. But the nights were the scariest. Every night, Alim had the same dream. He would be lying in his bed, and suddenly he would feel someone else in the room. He would try to open his eyes, but they wouldn't open. like someone had glued them shut. Then he would feel someone approaching his bed, slowly, very slowly. He could hear the breathing, but couldn't see. And then that thing would sit on his chest, heavy, very heavy. Alim would struggle to breathe. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Then he would feel someone stroking his neck, soft hands, cold hands, and then those lips on his neck. Alim felt like his breath was being sucked into someone else's mouth. His life, his energy, everything was being drained away. When the dream broke, he would wake up panting and sweating. His heart beat so fast, he thought it would burst out of his chest. At first, he thought they were just nightmares. But then he noticed that every morning, there were new marks on his neck, sometimes on one side, sometimes on the other. Small red marks. And the strangest part? Whenever he met Laila, all of Alim's fear and anxiety vanished. It was as if Laila had a magic that erased all his pain. "You look very weak, Alim," Laila said one evening. There was concern in her voice, but in her eyes, there was a strange hunger. "Just a bit of work stress," Alim said. "Come with me. You need rest." Laila took his hand, and Alim followed. He didn't know where Laila was taking him, but he didn't care. He just wanted to be with her. They left the city, heading toward the desert. It was pitch black, sand everywhere, no one around for miles, just stars twinkling in the sky. "Are you afraid?" Laila asked. "Never with you," Alim said. Laila smiled, but in the darkness her smile looked strange, like a predator smiling at its prey. After walking for a while, they saw an old hut in the middle of the sand, broken, lifeless. "This is my home," Laila said. "Here? So far out?" Alim was shocked. "Yes, I don't like crowds. It's peaceful here," Laila said, and walked inside. Alim stepped in. The inside was even stranger. No furniture, just an old mattress and a lit lamp. There were strange symbols drawn on the walls, as if written in blood. "Sit," Laila said. Alim sat down. Questions were rising in his mind, but he didn't have the courage to ask. Laila sat in front of him, so close that Alim could feel her breath. "Alim, do you love me?" Laila asked suddenly. Alim was startled. I. Tell the truth." Laila looked into his eyes. "Yes," Alim said softly. "I love you very much." A strange glow appeared in Layla's eyes. "Would you do anything for me? Anything?" "Anything," Alim said, without thinking. Then she removed her veil. Alim saw her full face for the first time. Extremely beautiful, a beauty that didn't seem of this world. Then, "I need you," Laila said, moving closer to Alim. Alim's heart began to pound. He couldn't understand anything. Laila was very close, and her scent, a strange scent, like old roses and damp earth, filled his nose. "Laila, I'm scared," Alim said. "Don't be afraid," Laila whispered. "It will just hurt a little. Then, it will all be over." And she placed her lips on Alim's neck. Alim felt a sharp pain, like someone had stabbed his neck. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. His body felt frozen. Laila was clinging to him, and Alim could feel his life, his breath, his blood, everything flowing out of him and into her. After a while, Laila let him go. Alim stumbled and fell. His vision was blurring. He looked up. Laila was standing there. There was a faint shine of blood on her lips, and her eyes, they were no longer human eyes. They were glowing red, like fire. "You, what are you?" Alim stammered. Laila laughed, a cold, terrifying laugh. "I am exactly what I told you about, the woman who comes to life once every 100 years, and you are my prey." Alim understood. The story, it was all true. Laila was not human. She was a Pishachini, a vampire demoness, and she was going to kill him. But I loved you," Alim said, tears filling his eyes. "And I needed your love," Laila said. "Without love, I couldn't make you mine. Love is the key that makes a human weak." Alim realized everything. Laila never loved him. It was all a trap. A beautiful, sweet trap he had fallen into. "What happens now?" Alim asked. "Now I will slowly drink your blood, little by little, every night. As long as a single drop remains in your body, you will stay alive. But the day it's all gone, you will dry up, just like water dries up in the desert." Alim could clearly see his death, and the scariest part was that there was no escape. Friends, they say love is blind, but sometimes love blinds you so much that you forget the difference between life and death. That's what happened to Alim. After that night, Alim returned to his room. He was very weak, but somehow he walked back. For the next few days, he lay in bed. His roommates were worried, but Alim told no one. What could he say? That a demoness had made him her prey? Who would believe him? And the biggest thing was, Alim himself couldn't accept the reality. He still loved Laila. Yes, even after everything. That was the Pishachini's power. She controlled her victims so completely that they would be ready to embrace death. The nights became even more terrifying. Laila would come every night, lie next to Alim, and drink his blood. Alim couldn't do anything. He just lay there, watching his life end before his eyes. Sometimes he thought about running away, going back to his village. But then Laila's eyes, that smile, it would all spin in his mind, and he would stop. Friends, this is the difference between love and obsession. Love sets you free. Obsession binds you. And Alim was trapped in an obsession from which there was no exit. About 2 weeks passed. Alim's condition worsened day by day. He became so weak he couldn't even walk. Going to work was out of the question. His friends took him to a doctor, but the doctor couldn't understand anything. Anemia, the doctor said, but it looks like the body has stopped producing blood altogether. This is a very strange case. They gave Alim blood transfusions and medicine, but nothing helped. Every night Laila came, and she drank more blood than the hospital could replace. And the strange thing was, he wasn't afraid. In fact, he felt a sense of relief. He felt that death was the only thing that could free him from this pain. One night, as Alim lay alone in his room, he heard Laila's voice. "Alim, wake up." Alim opened his eyes. Laila stood by the window. This time, she wasn't wearing the abaya. She wore a long red dress, her hair loose. The moonlight fell on her face, and she looked exactly like an angel, a bloody angel. "Laila," Alim whispered. "Tonight is your last night," Laila said. There was no sadness in her voice, no regret, just a flatness. "I know," Alim said. "Are you not afraid?" Laila asked. "Not anymore. Now I'm just waiting for it to end," Alim said. Laila came close and stroked his head. "You were good, Alim, truly. You loved me genuinely." "But you didn't," Alim said. Laila went silent. Then she spoke softly. "I cannot love. I am a demoness. For me, love is just a weapon, a trap I use to ensnare my prey." "So, do you never feel sadness? Never feel regret?" Alim asked. For a moment, something shifted in Laila's eyes. A wave of pain crossed her face and vanished. "A long time ago, perhaps I did. But now I only know that to survive, I need blood. And for that, I must kill." "How did you get this curse?" Alim asked. Laila sat down next to Alim and told her story. "Hundreds of years ago, I was an ordinary girl. I lived in a small village. A man loved me. I loved him too. But he betrayed me. On our wedding day, he left me for someone else. I broke. The pain inside me was so deep that I took my own life. But as I died, I cast a curse that every 100 years I would return and take the life of someone who loves me." Alim listened silently, and my curse came true. I became a Pishachini. Since then, every 100 years, I make someone my victim. And this time, it is you, Laila said. "Can this curse not be broken?" Alim asked. Laila laughed, a sad, hollow laugh. "It can be broken. If I find someone who loves me truly and is willing to give their life for me willingly, without any selfishness. But that has never happened. Everyone tries to save their own life in the end." Alim looked into Laila's eyes. Deep within those glowing red eyes, a pain was hidden, a pain that was centuries old. "What if I give my life willingly?" Alim asked. Laila was shocked. "What? If I give my life for you of my own free will, without any fear, will your curse break?" Alim asked again. Silent for a while, then she whispered, "Perhaps, but why would anyone do that?" Alim smiled. "Because I love you. True love, and true love is that which asks for nothing in return." Tears filled Laila's eyes. For the first time in centuries, there were tears in her eyes. "But you will die," Laila said. "I am going to die anyway. At least this way my death will have a meaning. You will be free," Alim said. No, Alim, I don't want this," Laila said, her voice weak for the first time. "But I want it." Alim held her hand. "Laila, I am sure. I am giving you my life for the sake of my love, of my own free will. And that night, in that small room, a strange miracle happened. Laila placed her lips on Alim's neck, but this time it wasn't an attack. It was a farewell. As Alim's life faded away, a strange light began to spread through Laila's body. Everything went blurry before Alim's eyes. In his final moment, he saw Laila crying. Her tears were falling onto Alim's face. "Thank you," Laila whispered. "You have set me free." And then, everything went dark. The next morning, 2 bodies were found in the desert. One was Alim's, dried up, lifeless, as if every drop of water had been drained from him. The other was a woman, Laila, but Laila wasn't dead. She was sleeping peacefully, as if she had found a restful sleep for the first time in centuries. When the police shook her, her eyes opened. But they were no longer red. They were normal black eyes, human eyes. "Who are you?" the police officer asked. Laila looked around. Then she looked at Alim's corpse. Tears filled her eyes again. I don't know," she said. "I don't remember anything." And it was true. With the breaking of the curse, all of Laila's old memories were gone. She was now an ordinary human, with a new life. But somewhere deep down, she remembered one thing. A man had given his life for her. Alim's body was sent back to his village. His family was told he died from the desert heat. No one knew the truth. No one knew that Alim gave his life to liberate a soul. Laila was sent to an orphanage. From there, she got a new life. Slowly, she began to live a normal life. But every night when she went to sleep, she would see a face, Alim's face, and hear a voice, "I love you." They say, friends, that true love is that which asks for nothing in return. That is what Alim did. He gave his life so Laila could find freedom. And perhaps that was the greatest love of all. Even today, when someone passes through that desert where Alim's body was found, strange marks appear on the sand. Some say they are marks from the wind, but some say they are the footprints of 2 people, a man and a woman walking together forever. Is it true? I don't know. But I do know that stories of love and sacrifice never end. They always stay alive. Sometimes the most beautiful things are also the most dangerous. To everyone living abroad, I have a request. Don't wander the streets alone at night. And if a stranger seems too friendly, be a little careful, because they might not be human. Alim's story is a lesson for us all. Love is blind, sure, but it shouldn't be deaf. Sometimes it's important to listen to what our heart says, but keep your brain with you too. And if you ever go to the Gulf Desert and see a woman wrapped in a veil in the distance, whose eyes burn like fire, just do one thing. Run. Run as fast as you can, because Laila might have returned, or maybe some other demoness. The secrets of the desert never end, friends. They just change from one form to another. So, I'll see you in the next story. Until then, take care of yourself. And yes, don't go out alone at night. Have a great day.